My next guest will be sending a letter to the FBI about those missing texts. And if he doesn't get answers soon, he says a congressional inquiry into the FBI will follow. Here now, Congressman Matt Gaetz. He sits on the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, welcome. Good to have you with us tonight. Tell me more about that. Tell me what you want to, in terms of this investigation and in terms of what you want specifically, because one of the concerns here is that it looked like the Attorney General had turned over all of the FBI texts in December of 2017. Well, now it appears that suddenly they disappeared.
Well, that is the operative question. Are these texts really missing? That's why tomorrow I'll be demanding to find out where the phones are, what the operating system upgrades were, when there was an original notice that there might have been missing information. But the key information, Martha, is that on December 13th of 2017, we had Mr. Horowitz, the Inspector General for the FBI, actually send a letter to Senator Ron Johnson saying that they had these text messages all the way through the month of June. So that would include the 5-month period that the FBI says they don't have these text messages for. So we've got conflicting information. Are the texts truly lost, or does the Inspector General have them? That's what Congress needs to find out immediately.
Yeah, I mean, do we know if Inspector Horowitz actually had possession of all of them? Or did someone just say to him, oh, we got them all, we got everything, without detailing for him the specifics that, actually 2 days after Mueller was appointed, we don't have the next 5 months?
Well, that is precisely the information that we have to find out, and it's why I'm sending a demand letter to get answers. But we have conflicting information. We have the FBI saying that the texts are lost, and then on the other hand, you have Mr. Horowitz sending a letter to Ron Johnson saying that he has text messages through June and then to the end of that month. And so, again, conflicting information, it demands answers. We also need to correct conflicting information. The President of the United States is going to allow the release of this memo if the Intelligence Committee holds a vote. The Intelligence Committee in the House has done a fantastic job under the leadership of Devin Nunes. The reports out that the President would reject the release of that memo are categorically false. I have every confidence he would allow it to enter the public square, because when you pair this memo, which I have read, with the purported missing 5 months of text messages, the overlay of that timeline is very interesting and tells quite a story, Martha.
All right, well, just to fill everybody in, what you're discussing now is the 4-page memo that was brought out by the House Judiciary Committee that shows all the evidence from the investigation, and it was released to the entire Congress, correct?
It was released to all members. Interesting, though, Democrats have actually boycotted a review of this memo, and so those who are not on the Intelligence Committee haven't seen it. I think it would be good for every member of Congress to read it, and then for us to have a public vote to release this memo to the American people so that everyone can see what was really going on at the
Congressman.
FBI.
Who's going to vote on whether or not it'll be released? And then the White House has to sign it. But do you need a majority on the committee? What do you need out of that committee in order to push this forward?
Excellent question. The very first thing we need is a vote of the Intelligence Committee. If the Intelligence Committee votes to release the memo, the President of the United States would have 5 days to either reject its release, accept its release, or take no action.
But in that vote, I'm sorry, just to clarify, in that vote in the Judiciary Committee, do you need a majority? Do you need the entire committee to be unanimous?
Just a majority of it's actually the Intelligence Committee that would make this decision. It would be a majority.
All right. So in terms of one more question for you, that 4-page memo, if you can't get it out, and I know you very much want that memo to be released, can you read it on the floor of Congress as has been suggested? Because you're protected. It's protected speech on the part of a congressman to stand there and read the whole thing. Would you ever do that?
I would not. I think that would set a very dangerous precedent that would really damage our ability to collect sensitive intelligence information and evaluate it in real time as the Congress should. We should utilize the process that Chairman Devin Nunes and the Intelligence Committee have laid out. We should hold a vote as soon as the Congress is back in session. And then I can tell you the president is going to allow this to be released.
All right. Bret Baier spoke with Senator Ron Johnson, who we were just talking about earlier, and he asked him about specifically the reference to a secret society that comes out in these texts. I want you to listen to this exchange and let me know what you think. Let's hear it.
And that secret society, we have an informant that's talking about a group that were holding secret meetings off-site. There's so much smoke here. There's so much suspicion.
Let's stop there. A secret society, secret meetings off-site of the Justice Department.
Correct.
And you have an informant saying that.
Yes.
Is there anything more about that?
No, we have to dig into it. This is not a distraction. Again, this is bias, potentially corruption at the highest levels of the FBI.
Congressman, what do you know about that?
These are the elements of a palace coup that was underway to disrupt President Trump both before and after his election, and I suspect that there will be multiple inquiries. It's important to note, Martha, that over 20 members of the Judiciary Committee sent Attorney General Sessions a demand for a second special counsel to look into these claims, and I'm hopeful that the Attorney General will act on that immediately so that we can restore confidence in the FBI on behalf of the countless men and women on the front lines working hard who I believe have been betrayed by their leadership.
Just before I let you go, do you know anything more specifically about this secret society? When I saw that phrase in these text messages, it's almost laughable that FBI agents would discuss a secret society in a serious way. But now Senator Johnson says that there actually was a group that was meeting off-site and that they have an informant who says that. Are you aware of that? Do you have knowledge of that?
I do not have knowledge of the informant. I have read the text messages. And then when you compare this in the context of the memo that I hope is released very soon, I think the picture becomes very clear.
Congressman Gaetz, thank you very much. Good to see you tonight, sir.
Good to see you.